Archaeologists have begun a major new excavation of the Roman city of Pompeii.
They find more than 40 human skeletons, some of which are abnormally large.
Archaeologists make numerous amazing discoveries every year, but sometimes they encounter things that send shivers down their spines. Here is a collection of the creepiest archaeological finds for your viewing pleasure. Victims of Pompeii. In 79 AD, a terrible tragedy occurred that still horrifies people today. The wealthy ancient Roman city of Pompeii was completely buried under a layer of ash after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Several thousand people died as a result of this disaster. For over 1,500 years, the city remained hidden from view under a thick layer of volcanic rock. It was only accidentally discovered in 1592 during the digging of a channel from the Sarno River. The first excavations in Pompeii began in 1748. Over time, a large number of remains of the city's residents were discovered, some of which are located in the National Archaeological Museum of Naples. However, these are not exactly human remains. More precisely, they are plaster casts that accurately convey the bodies and facial features of the deceased. When Pompeii was buried under a thick layer of ash, the bodies of the city's inhabitants were covered by dense volcanic rock, which eventually hardened. Inside the volcanic cocoon, the bodies underwent a natural process of decomposition. Over time, voids formed within the volcanic layer, precisely capturing the shape of the bodies of the deceased. In 1864, Italian archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli devised a method to study the bodies of Pompeii given this unique burial feature. He suggested making a small hole and pouring in a plaster mixture. This technique, known as the plaster casting technique, continues to be used to this day. The ancient disease. Cases of leprosy, also known as Hansen's disease, are mentioned in the Old Testament of the Bible, where the disease was considered divine punishment for sins. It's possible that people suffered from leprosy long before the sacred Christian book was written. In 2009, archaeologists from Appalachian State University were conducting excavations at the ancient settlement of Balathal in Rajasthan, India. During their research, they discovered ancient human remains. After examination, scientists determined that the remains belonged to a man who died about 4,000 years ago at the age of 35 to 37. His death likely resulted from disease, as indicated by the complete absence of teeth, atrophy of the nasal spine, and a sunken jaw. According to experts, these signs indicated that the man had suffered from leprosy. This discovery was sensational, as archaeologists had not previously found leprosy-infected remains with such an ancient date. Therefore, the skeleton found in Rajasthan is officially recognized as the oldest known person to have suffered from leprosy. Today, people continue to contract leprosy. According to statistics, about 250,000 people are diagnosed with leprosy annually, but modern medical methods allow for complete recovery from the disease. Mix and match mummies. In 2011, during excavations on the island of South Uist in Scotland, archaeologists discovered a burial site with 4 mummies dated to the 1st millennium BC. 2 mummies belonging to a girl aged 12 to 14 and a boy aged 3 to 4 did not raise any questions. However, the other 2 bodies shocked scientists, as each mummy was composed of parts from several individuals. This sounded very strange and confusing, so experts decided to investigate how this could have happened. Research revealed many shocking details about the unusual find. The male mummy was composed of remains from 3 different people, 2 men and 1 woman. The female mummy also included fragments from 3 different bodies. Even more strangely, the bodies were initially mummified in the usual way, and the assembly of mummies from various remains took place sometime later. The male mummy was assembled between 1440 and 1260 BC, and the female between 1310 and 1130 BC. For 500 years they were stored in a peat bog and then transferred to the location where archaeologists discovered them. This story resembles the plot of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or the modern Prometheus. But who needed to create such strange mummies from the remains of several people? Scientists suggest that this find demonstrates an unknown ancient ritual symbolizing the union of several clans into one. Ancient witch hunts. Many of you may associate witch hunts with the Middle Ages. Indeed, during this era, tens of thousands of people were killed for being accused of witchcraft. However, references to punishments for engaging in dark magic date back to ancient times. For example, the Babylonian Code of Hammurabi, dated 1752 BC, prescribed the death penalty for witchcraft. Until the 15th century, punishments for dark magic rituals were exceptionally rare. It's believed that the history of witch hunts began between 1430 and 1440. Initially, this practice met with disapproval. However, 50 years later, Pope Innocent VIII issued the papal bull Summis Deseridantes Affectibus. After the issuance of this document, more decrees and laws prescribing the death penalty for witchcraft began to appear. One of the most famous among them was the treatise on demonology Malleus Maleficarum, written by the German monk Heinrich Kramer in a collaboration with Inquisitor Jacob Sprenger. The first mass persecutions of witches began in 1585 and actively continued for the next 10 years. Then, until the 1630s, the number of executions significantly decreased, but later the persecutions resumed. The witch hunts were most prevalent in Germany, Switzerland, France, and Scotland. Experts estimate that at least 50,000 people were killed during the active fight against witchcraft. Most of the victims were women, but men were also accused of witchcraft. Before execution, witches were placed in special separate prisons. One such place of imprisonment was discovered in 2016 during the restoration of a 15th century church in the Scottish city of Aberdeen. According to historians, in 1597, 23 women and 1 man accused of witchcraft awaited their execution in this prison. The oldest known ghost depiction. In 2023, a Babylonian tablet estimated to be 3,500 years old was discovered in the storage of the British Museum. It had long been of no interest, but during its re-examination, Dr. Irving Finkel noticed an unusual feature. When placed at a certain angle and illuminated, the image of 2 people becomes visible. According to Finkel, the tablet depicts a woman leading the ghost of a man into the afterlife. On the back of the tablet there was an inscription with instructions for exorcising spirits. According to these instructions, a person whose home was haunted by a ghost needed to make figurines of a man and a woman and then dress them appropriately. The man's clothing should be everyday attire, while the woman's figurine needs to be wrapped in 4 red cloths and 1 purple cloth. The female figurine should also feature a gold brooch and contain travel accessories in her inventory. After preparing the figurines, one could proceed with the ritual, which was always performed at dawn. Finkel believed that this tablet is unique because it bears the oldest depiction of a ghost among all previously found items. This artifact attests to the belief 3,500 years ago in the afterlife and spirits, and also that lost souls needed assistance to be guided into the realm of the dead. Lindo Man. In 1984, at Lindo Moss, England, a worker unearthed a well-preserved body, following the discovery of a skull from the 1st to 2nd century AD. This Lindo man lived around 2090 BC, was 25, and stood 168 centimeters tall. His well-developed muscles indicated physical labor, yet his neatly trimmed nails and beard hinted at noble status. He was healthy, but met a violent end. 2 axe blows to the head, a slit throat, and broken ribs. Scientists suspect he was murdered as a sacrifice. The Lindo man's mummy resides in the British Museum. Skeleton Lake. In the chilling embrace of the Himalayas lies Rupkund Lake, a place where a haunting discovery unfolded in the 1940s. Hundreds of human skeletons preserved by the unforgiving cold were stumbled upon by a forest official named H.K. Madwal. The remoteness of the location, a 5-day trek from civilization, deepened the enigma. Initially, theories swirled about the identity of the deceased. Were they Japanese soldiers or perhaps traitors? But closer examinations revealed a far older story. Scientists meticulously pieced together the puzzle, estimating over 600 people met their demise at the lake. Unraveling who they were, why they ventured there, and how they perished became a relentless quest. Theories ranged from war casualties to infectious outbreaks. However, advancements in technology like radiocarbon dating and DNA analysis shed new light. The skeletons belonged to 2 distinct groups, a larger contingent from the 9th century AD, possibly pilgrims, and a smaller group from around 1800 AD. A closer look at the remains revealed a chilling truth. Fractures on many skulls hinted at a violent end. The most credible explanation points towards a fierce hailstorm, a common wrath of the mountain weather. Ironically, this place of tragedy, now nicknamed Skeleton Lake, has become a magnet for the adventurous. Trekkers and mountaineering enthusiasts brave the trek to witness this natural wonder, a stark reminder of the unforgiving power of nature. Burials of hearts. In 2015, archaeologists in Rennes, France, made an extraordinary discovery. 5 urns dating back to the 16th century, each shaped like a heart and containing preserved human hearts instead of ashes. The remarkable find was sent to a laboratory for further analysis, which revealed that 3 of the hearts belonged to individuals who had suffered from cardiovascular diseases, 1 belonged to a healthy individual, and the 5th was too damaged to study. This peculiar burial practice dates back to the Middle Ages and was particularly common during the Crusades. Crusaders often died far from home, making it impractical to transport their entire bodies back. Instead, their hearts or other internal organs were sent to their relatives. This tradition allowed families to memorialize their loved ones in more than one location. Notable historical figures who chose to have their hearts buried separately from their bodies include Anne Boleyn, the wife of King Henry VIII of England, Polish composer Frédéric Chopin, English writer and poet Thomas Hardy, and many other members of European aristocracy. Today, such customs might seem strange, but they reflect the deep cultural significance of the heart as a symbol of life and memory in medieval and early modern Europe. That's all from me. If you liked this video, don't forget to rate it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Your engagement is the best reward for me. Thank you for watching, and see you soon. Bye.